Today's video lesson is going to be centered around some information that I assume that you already know. So if you don't, this is a great review what we're going to be doing today. The first thing is that you're going to need to know the names of the notes. So these are line notes. The line goes through the center of the note. This is an E, and the bottom note is E. This is a G, second line. B, third line. D, fourth line. E, fifth line. Or sorry, F, fifth line, excuse me. This G is the line circled by the G clef here. So if you need to remember something to jog your memory, the G line is circled by the crosshairs here in the treble clef. So these are the line notes. Another way to remember them is every good bird does fly. And then in the space, you spell the word face. Right? So when you see a space note, spell the word face. So the first space is F. The next space note is A. The next space note is C. The next space note is E, F-A-C. So, again, every good bird does fly. And then in the spaces, you would spell F, A, C, E. You'll notice that we already have two Fs and two E's. So there are more than one note possible in the staff. Another couple of notes that maybe aren't so intuitive, just notes that eventually you'll memorize because they look so different. And those are, excuse me, I'm going to go back to note editing. There we go. Those are the G above the staff, just hangs out on top. It's considered a space note because if I wrote another note on top of it, excuse me, if I wrote another note on top, you'll notice that there's a line that I have to add in. And so that note sits inside of a space when I have that extra note. We're not going to worry about ledger lines today. So that's a G. This is what I call deep down under because it's for Australian D because it's the D down under the staff. And Australian is the land down under, so Australian D, the D down under the staff. This is middle C. Now, it doesn't look like it, but it is actually the middle note in between the two clefs. So if I go to our bass clef people and put a middle C there, it looks very similar, right? It's got a line through it. Okay, the only thing is this is on the top, that's on the bottom. It doesn't look like it's very well centered in between the two staves, but it sounds the exact same. All right, and then the other bit of information that I need to go over is the music alphabet. So it's just like the regular alphabet, except for two things. Number one, it starts on A, keeps going just like the regular alphabet, except for when we get to G, we don't go to H, we start over again on A. The other thing is that I need you to remember to underline or keep B and C together in your brain and E and F together in your brain, because if I played a B and a C together, they would be the sound of a Jaws, the sound of Jaws, and there are no sharps or flats. And also, if I play E and F together, there are no sharps and flats needed to make a half step or Jaws sound. Everything else, A to D, C to D, D to E, F to G, G to A, those are all whole steps, or the sound of happy birthday. The final bit of information is, if I start with a note and a staff, and I add an accidental to that note, it makes that note change by one half step. So right now, I have two notes of the same pitch. That's called a unison. They will sound exactly the same. If I add a flat, that will now go down by one half step. So I would be playing da, and then I would go down one half step. So da, da. And then if I wanted to instead make it a sharp, that would change the note up by one half step. So instead of singing na, I would be singing na, right? Na na. And um, if I need to alter a note up one half step, I would add a sharp. So that takes us to the next lesson, which is building tetrachords. And that's where we're going to start in part 2.